What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be part 3 of my every Call of Duty World at War map review. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, go check those out. Today we are going to review Makin, Outskirts, and Roundhouse. This will be a little bit shorter of a video because it's only 3 maps, but as I said in the first video, this is how I want to do it, just to keep everything nice and organized. So let's get started with Makin. Makin was set in Makin Atoll, Gilbert Islands, which is in between Hawaii and Australia. It's a medium map along the Pacific Ocean. For the looks of this map, of course being on an island, there's plenty of palm trees. And you got the ocean, and this one's set at night, so you got the moonlight shining down, which brings up the looks a little bit in my opinion. You could tell at one point this was a paradise, but now it's ridden with war. There's 2 versions of Makin. We'll get to Makin Day on the next video, but this one took place at high tide. So around the huts towards the ocean, the water's higher than it is on Makin Day. I think having the water at high tide makes the looks a little better because there's more water on the map. Also, I like the moonlight. But for the buildings themselves, they're just basic huts. Not really, they're kind of cool looking, I guess, but the aspect of the looks to me that's really good is the fact that it's set on a desert island. So the rating for the looks gets a 7.9 out of 10. For the playability, it was pretty bad. Although the map was supposed to be a medium map, it felt kind of big to me. It didn't really have any flow, not like a 3-lane structure or anything. The layout was just kind of weird and random. Although there was a lot of cover with the huts and other things in the middle area of the map, it felt like I was always in the open. I would get picked off all the time from all over the place on this map. And it just, I don't know, I didn't really like it. Since it was dark, it was a lot harder to see the enemies. And the Makin Day version of the map has this ladder here still up. So that would have made this a sniper's nest. I guess they took it out in the patch. But if you go to the day version of the map, this ladder is still up, so you can still use the sniper's nest. I don't know, playability wasn't very good. I didn't like playing on this map. I'll give it a rating of a 3.5 out of 10. The cool factor and vibe. I thought the vibe was awesome. The moonlight look added an eerie vibe to the map as well. This map made you feel like you're doing a stealth mission or something. I don't know. It just felt like you're creeping in the water, sneaking up on someone. I love the moonlight, and the sound of the ocean kind of gave it a peaceful vibe as well. There wasn't too much creepy stuff on this map, but if you go to this temple area, you can hear random chimes just in the wind. I don't think it's really creepy, but it's just a random chime. I don't know. And according to Call of Duty Wiki, we're going to see if it works here. If you go into spectator mode beyond the fence, you can hear a gasping sound in the water. Let's check it out. Okay, probably didn't hear anything. I sat out there for probably like 5 minutes with my headset turned all the way up. I never heard a thing. I think Call of Duty Wiki's wrong on this one. But the overall cool factor, just the fact that you're on an island is pretty cool. So I'll give the cool factor vibe rating a 6.7 out of 10. For the attention to detail, like I said on the looks, there's a lot of plants on this map. There's the beach, of course, and for the time, the water physics were actually pretty dang good. The huts themselves had decent detail to them. Inside there was things here and there, and if you go into this hut here, you can actually see a Hitler youth knife stabbed into a fish on one of the tables. The other little detail that was cool, I thought, on the night map, there's a fire pit on the beach with the fire roaring, but on the day map it's put out. Just a little touch of detail right there. And these little racks here, this It's like a fish. I think you put fish in this thing, but if you shoot it, it acts like a swing. Thought it was kind of funny. And another thing, according to a Call of Duty wiki that I tried, but I couldn't get it to work, is if you hover above the water in spectator mode, the water disappears. Now, I don't know if they're talking about the water changes, but it doesn't really disappear. I might be doing it wrong, but I thought I'd give it a try. And supposedly you can hear noises from the ocean that resemble dolphins. Let's see if we hear any dolphins. Did you hear any dolphins? All in all though, the attention to detail gets above average rating of a 6.2 out of 10. That gives Makin's total a 23.6 out of 40. Next up is Outskirts. Outskirts took place in Berlin, Germany. It was a very large map again with tanks on it. For the looks, there was a bunch of trees and grass. Overall, this map had like a brown tint to it, but I really like the looks of the cottages. Although it's set in Germany, it kind of reminds me of England for some reason. I don't know, the cottages just kind of look, I guess they're European, so. But yeah, the non-destroyed ones are really good looking, really cool architecture. And this bridge was over what I think was a dried up stream as well. Too bad the stream's still not there, that would have brought the looks up a lot. But still, I really like the cottages look to them, and this church is pretty cool looking. I wish it wasn't as destroyed, but I guess that's the war for you. Overall, I'll give the rating a 6.5 out of 10. For the playability, horrendous. It was too big, too many sniper spots. I didn't like the elevation advantage. People would sit on the top of this hill and just wait until someone pops out of the windows. The church had the sniper perch, of course, as well, where people would go all the time. Every game I played, there was someone up there. And in fact, for some reason, this map was brought back in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 as a remaster. I have no idea why. I think people were pissed when they did it, but it was a remaster. It was completely different. It had mechs on it, I think, and it was just weird. I don't know why they bring this map back. On Call of Duty Wiki, it says that it's a fan favorite. I don't think so. But the playability rating gets a 1.3 out of 10. Cool factor and vibe. I thought this map was pretty cool. Even though the playability sucked, I really liked the vibe and cool factor. Like I said, the cottages remind me of England, even though it's in Germany. I don't know, I've never been to Europe, but I'm sure a lot of buildings are like this. But this map kind of gave me somewhat of an eerie vibe. I don't know, if you look and walk around this area here, it's kind of a creepy vibe. I don't know. Don't know how to explain it, but according to Call of Duty Wiki also, and I don't think this is correct, if you stand near the church long enough, a ghost will throw rocks at you. I think they're just talking about the rocks shifting in the church. I stood here forever, and I was expecting to have damage from a ghost throwing rocks at me, but let's listen. It's just the rocks shifting in the church. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a ghost throwing rocks, but this map did have that empty, abandoned vibe to it. It was pretty creepy. It just kind of reminded me of like 16th century or something. Just reminded me maybe of the game Skyrim. I don't know. I really liked it though. It had a cool, urban, somewhat creepy vibe. I'll give it a 7.6 out of 10. For the attention to detail, the cottages themselves had really good detail in the architecture. But on the inside of them, there really wasn't much in them at all. There's quite a few destroyed buildings on this map. This one in particular is completely gone. So they didn't really have to put much detail into these destroyed buildings. The church is completely gone as well, just full of rubble. Yeah, again, I wish they wouldn't have as much destruction, but it's World War II. I'm sure this is what it looked like. So, also, there's not much on the outskirts of the map to add to the detail. There are some roads that lead to nowhere, but that's really it. There's a few vehicles on the map as well, but I think it's just a little bit of above average rating for it. It's a 5.8 out of 10. This makes the total for Outskirts a 21.2 out of 40. The last map on this video is Roundhouse. It took place in California, USA. It was an industrial rail yard, and it was very large with tons of cover. For the looks, as I said, very industrial look to it. No color at all, really, to this map. It was just gray, brown, or even black with all the coal. Quite a lot of destruction on this map. Almost completely destroyed. You can barely tell what this used to be. The trains on the map give it a little bit of a boost to the looks, not much. I don't know. Again, all the destruction, World War II, all that. I wish it was a little less destroyed, but it doesn't look very good when it's all destroyed. So I'll give the ranking a 3.2 out of 10. For the playability, it played okay. For being a bigger map, it played better than other big maps in the game. I think that this map may have been even a little too small for the tanks. There wasn't that much open area in this map. It was mostly running and hiding behind train cars and just finding cover on the outskirts. That's how I played it. Almost every match someone would get in a tank and stay in the center and just look on the outskirts for people. I barely ever used the tanks on this map. I just stuck to the outskirts, and the rounded shape to the map I would just make circles, but because the middle area was a little bit more open, not much cover, so I'd stick to the outskirts. I'll give the playability a ranking of a 6.6 out of 10. The cool factor and vibe, it was pretty good cool factor. It's cool that you're battling around a bunch of trains, and this is one of those stations where I think what it was is where the train would rotate in the center and change tracks. I don't know how to explain it, but the vibe has that industrial look, black coal, like just rough and gritty vibe. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain that too, but off in the distance you can see some buildings smoking, which gives it a little bit of a scary vibe, but overall this map wasn't that creepy. And like I said with the looks, it would have been really cool, a lot cooler, if this map wasn't so destroyed. Been really cool to see what this building was, not just a big pile of rubble like most of the maps on this game. I'll give the cool factor and vibe ranking a 6.5 out of 10. And the attention to detail on the parts that weren't destroyed was decent. There's a one building with the two smokestacks. Again, you can kind of tell what it used to be. It looks like they were boilers or something. The train engines themselves had decent detail to them, but you couldn't go inside them. Wish you could, that'd be cool. Mostly rubble though, and coal. There's spilled coals out of these coal cars here. And the outskirts of the map, outside the play area, doesn't really have much detail in it either. There's a little Easter egg, I guess you could call it. If you look above the train cars, you can see a sword painted on them. Little detail there, I don't know what the sword represents. Yeah, this building here, it's all destroyed, but it's got some kind of logo on it. I don't know what it was, but you can tell if this was not destroyed, it would have been pretty cool and probably a lot of detail to it. I'll give it a ranking of a 4.8 out of 10. That gives Roundhouse's total a 21.1 out of 40. And with that completes part 3 of my every Call of Duty World at War map reviewed. I know it's a little bit shorter of a video. These 3 maps weren't really the best maps really in the game. They were kind of boring. But actually the rest of the base maps are pretty boring themselves. But I'll have part 4 out hopefully pretty soon. So be sure to subscribe so you see when that comes out. If you like what you see, let me know. I will catch you on part 4. Thanks for watching.